What's up, Liquid Trucking? Welcome into the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Thanks so much for being here. I'm your host, Marcus. Of course, we are off on episode 81 of this little podcast that could. And today's topic is going to be a fun one. But before we get to that, let's not forget our little homework that we cover every single time we turn this podcast on. You got to head over to liquidtrucking.com, or you can just type in the address podcast.liquidtrucking.com. That'll take you to our landing page. That's where you can listen to every single episode. I know that a lot of you guys that listen to this podcast every single week hear this part and probably think, good God, why is it that he does this every single episode? And I promise you, it's not because I don't think you guys are listening to me. It's because we're gaining some popularity here, and we've always got new people clicking in to listen to the show. I want to make sure that those people that maybe have not listened to a single episode, and episode 81 is their first one, they know how to get to our website where they can find all the rest of the episodes, information about things we've talked about. There's some photo galleries up there from time to time. We're going to start rolling out version 2 of that website very soon. There will be even more fun stuff for you to interact with on there. So I appreciate all of you for taking it in every single week. There's been some weeks where I've forgotten and some weeks where I just haven't done it because we've been, strapped for time or something like that. But in this case, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for visiting podcast.liquidtrucking.com. And checking out all of the episodes there. Couldn't do this without you guys, and we greatly appreciate all the involvement from all the drivers. I sent out a poll that had to do with this episode, and I was blown away by the amount of responses that I got. It doesn't surprise me, okay? I sent out the poll, which is about video games. And I got some interesting responses from people when I sent out text message to talk about what we're going to talk about this week. But the poll question that I sent out was, what type of games do you play in your downtime? I will be honest with you, out of just under 50 votes, 50% say that they actually, in fact, it's even over 50, it's 53% say they don't game in their downtime. And I get it, man. I knew that this was going to be a little bit more of a niche episode, but I think the more important thing is that, about 47% of people that answered the poll do game in their downtime. And it's kind of crazy because it's a wide variety of games. You guys would not believe it. Like trucking simulators, I figured maybe some of you guys are just a bit out of your mind, and so it would be cool for you to drive for 10 hours and then jump onto your PC in your cab and drive for a few more hours in the American Trucking Simulator because it's a really cool game, A, and B, I just know it's really popular. Only 2% of you are playing American Trucking Simulator. Racing games is 2% of you. 7% of you like those action and adventure games. That's your God of War, your Red Dead Redemption, your Elden Ring, all these things. Real-time strategy like Civilization. I was surprised to see 9% of the people that answered this are real-time strategy players. I think it's really cool, man. I got into Civilization here just recently. I picked up an old copy. And, I was obsessed with it for a little while. I didn't stay with it. I'm not playing it anymore, but fun game. How about this? 14% of you guys are playing RPGs, role-playing games, and I think those are really cool. I have been a long-time MMORPG guy. Never got into World of Warcraft, but this is going to date me. For those of you that know your games and are maybe in your 40s or even older, might remember a little game called Ultima Online from the late 90s. I was a huge Ultima Online fan as a young kid, and that's kind of was my entrance into the RPG realm. Fun games, man. Always love a good sandbox game where you can do whatever you want whenever you want. Nobody plays online tabletop RPGs. Nobody answered that. I know that's not true because we've had people in before. We'll have somebody in today that does some tabletop stuff. 7% of you are mobile gamers, and we're going to talk to a mobile gamer here a little bit later. And I think you guys will find what he has to say very interesting because he plays mobile games for a purpose, and it's a pretty cool one. And then we got 5% of you guys that are first-person shooter fans. Call of Duty, it's a very popular one. Personally, I like Call of Duty. It's just a little bit fast for me because I'm getting old. Been loving playing some PUBG lately. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. A little bit slower, a little bit more tactical. Kind of a battle royale thing. But anyway, we're going to talk about all this. I just wanted to go through the results of the poll real quick, and I wanted to thank everybody that responded to the poll. We've got some new capability here with the texting platform. I'm sure you guys have seen it and, of course, been introduced to it because you get those text messages. But I'm very excited to put this to work. I'll be sending you guys some more polls. We'll be obviously sending you text messages to see who wants to join us to talk about whatever we're talking about that week. So make sure and keep your eyes out. So yeah, basically, I kind of glossed over it a little bit in the intro because I was thanking everybody for visiting the website, thanking people for listening, and then just kind of spilled into the poll. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. You would not want to spend 24 hours in the 6 inches between my ears, okay? It's just a circus up there. So apologies for sort of glossing over the fact that today we are talking about gamers. And really where this idea came from, my guy Jake Debo over at the Plattsmouth terminal said, hey, gamers love to share their setups. I see it all the time on social media. People are showing pictures of, their gaming studio or their office that they've turned into a little gaming rig, and they love to show it off. And Jake said, I would love to see how some of the drivers work out gaming in their truck. Maybe send in some pictures. Maybe just come on the air and talk about it a little bit. We're going to cover that and much, much more. We're going to talk about the games that these guys play. I would like to talk to them a little bit about the time spent, because I know when you're OTR, you might not have a ton of time. Like, some games just don't work real well if you can't sit down and play them for 2 or 3 hours at a time. Other games, you can sit down and play for 15 minutes and be done and be in the sack in a half an hour and back up driving the next day. So I'm interested to find out all of this stuff. And I've got 4 liquid drivers joining me later to talk about it. Before we get to that, though, I did want to tell you guys about some articles that I found. Now, some of this is a little bit older. This first one here from the Washington Post, which I normally would not have signed up for a service to be able to read you this, but I thought that this was really cool. The article is from June 2023, and I basically, without reading the thing to you verbatim, what this article is saying is that Schneider National was working on recruiting. They were trying to figure out why their turnover was so high. They wanted to know new ways that they could try to recruit drivers, and one of their trainers noticed that a young kid, no trucking experience whatsoever, came in and absolutely aced some of the spots in his driving test, like backing the trailer. He said the kid had never driven a big rig before, never had 53 feet to deal with, and he just slid it in there like it was nothing. So the recruiter went up to him and asked him, the trainer went up to him and asked him, hey, you aced that. Like, that was passing with flying colors. Can you tell me how you learned how to do that? And the kid told him straight up, I play American Trucking Simulator all the time. And a light bulb kind of went off in the trainer from Schneider National. He went to the powers that be, and lo and behold, it was just, 6-8 months later, you could start to see Schneider National billboards advertising recruitment in American Trucking Simulator. Now, that might not seem crazy to those of us that have played games for 25 years because we've always seen billboards, right? I don't know if any of you guys played Burnout Paradise. It was an old racing game that it had a little bit of a mix of like a crash-up derby and also, just getting to the finish line first. It was a cool game, but Barack Obama, in his first, when he ran his first presidential election campaign, advertised on billboards in Burnout Paradise. So we've been seeing this all the way back since 2008, but not necessarily in the trucking industry. Now, American Trucking Simulator is incredibly popular, and as Schneider found out, and many other companies have found out, a lot of drivers actually sort of learn how to drive a little bit by playing the simulator. And if you're a driver out there listening to this and you've been driving for 30 years and you're not a gamer and you hear that drivers are learning how to drive in American Trucking Simulator, you might scoff at it. And I could totally understand that. There is no substitute to having your hands on the wheel in a real truck on a real highway with a real trailer filled with real expensive stuff, trying to get it from one point to another safely. Like, there's no substitute for that. But I will tell you right now that if simulators didn't work, we'd see a lot more planes falling out of the sky. Because you can't really train a pilot to fly without a simulator. Are you going to put him on the sticks the first time he gets up there and hope that whatever problem he causes, you can barrel roll out of? I don't fucking think so. Excuse my language. Seriously, that's kind of where my mind goes here. So there's something to this, right? Because Microsoft Flight Simulator, incredibly advanced game, incredibly detailed. You can say the same thing about American Trucking Simulator. It actually has a pretty well-to-scale model of our highway system here in the United States, and I guess maybe it could help you. I mean, some guys have these gigantic rigs that they play trucking simulator in. I see one guy that plays it in what looks like a converted truck cab, where he's taken all of the windows out and replaced them with monitors. He's got 180 degrees worth of view. He's got rear view mirrors that are functional. You could learn some things here. You might not get good at it. You might not ever be licensed to do it just because you played the simulator, but you can learn some things. And there was a study that came out, actually, this one came out August of last year, so not super old, but gamers believe that because of virtual training, they are actually better drivers. Now, I know saying gamers believe it doesn't mean anything, but there are some actual stats here. Let me get down to where this says, okay, here we go, right here. Nearly half of Brits who played racing video games believe that their time behind the virtual wheel makes them better drivers than non-gamers. 65% of these gamers see racing video games as similar to real life. And it begs the question, can you actually get better? Well, I will tell you this. There have been plenty of studies out there that show that gamers actually develop like better reaction skills and better anticipation skills through playing these simulators. Now, again, might not be something that you want to take out and put into practice on a professional racing track with a bunch of other professionals out there. But if you've never driven a car before and you sit down in a racing simulator and you've got the gas, the brake, the clutch, the gear shift, you've got mirrors, you've got a steering wheel, you've got all these things to worry about, I don't necessarily see why it wouldn't help you just learn how to make the thing go forward without needing an empty parking lot so you don't drill somebody or, drive into a building. That's how most of us learned, right? We got down in a parking lot, we dumped the clutch, we killed it 7 or 8 times to dad either laughing or fuming next to us, and sooner or later we figured it out. Well, just imagine doing that without the damage to your clutch. I mean, your virtual clutch, that thing doesn't ever need to be replaced. It's got a 10 million mile limit on it. So, interesting stuff here as we start to talk about truckers that game. And there's a lot of you guys out there. There is another article, 22-year-old kid named Steven, who basically he took out his whole passenger seat. He has a chair that sits with the back to the dash, facing the sleeper, and that's where his gaming PC is. And it's not small, you guys. I have a gaming PC underneath my desk right now, and it takes up a full half of my desk. They're not small. He's got it mounted in there. He's got it secured, and he is one of these drivers. This 22-year-old kid named Steven will drive for 10 hours, and then he will immediately jump on American Trucking Simulator and drive for a couple more hours before he goes to bed. Interesting stuff, guys, and I can't wait to talk about it with my Liquid drivers. They're all going to be here just around the corner, again, because I kind of fouled it up. Podcast.liquidtrucking.com. That's your landing spot for all things Liquid Trucking Podcast. We're glad to have you here today for episode 81. It's time to get to our interview. Let's do it.
Welcome to the gold standard of podcasts for the gold standard of drivers. This is the Liquid Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
Okay, joining me next here on the Liquid Trucking Podcast, 4 drivers that we've actually heard from maybe this exact group before, if I'm not mistaken. This seems really close to my group that joined me talking about our favorite and least favorite movies. And I'm absolutely it's a pleasure to welcome these guys back because that one was so much fun. I was laughing a lot. I know this one's going to be fun again. Please welcome to the show, first and foremost, Mikal Donut Duncan. How you doing out there, Donut?
Not too bad, just rolling through Utah.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. Please also welcome Drew Hearn. Drew, how's it going out there, my friend?
I can't complain too much. Just heading back to Bardo.
Okay, so you in Nebraska right now?
Iowa.
Iowa, gotcha. So we got Iowa and Utah. Tim Spencer is joining us from Home Time, if I'm not mistaken. So he's got his feet kicked up right now. You got the ottoman in place? You got a cold beer in hand, Tim?
Yes, sir.
All right, good, man. Always appreciate when you guys join us from your home time. And Tim, I know this isn't the first time you've joined us from your home time. It's greatly appreciated, fellas, and I want you to know I never expect it. If you called me on my day off, there would be 4-letter words, but you wouldn't like any of them. So, I get it. And as I say, really appreciate the time. And also joining us today is Big Jay Defoor. How's it going out there, Jay? Where are you at today?
Oh, I'm coming to Chicago right now on my way down to Texas.
Thank God you get to drive away from Chicago.
Yeah, I've had to play bouncy bounce local guy for the last couple of days. So I'm finally got my load and I'm getting out of Dodge.
Good to hear it, man. Well, again, thank you guys all for being here today. Now, the reason you 4 are all here today is you all gave me some sort of response when I texted you about gaming and gaming setups. You all replied to the poll, which I really appreciate. When we were first talking about this episode, and I mentioned this a little bit off the top, Jake Debo was like, man, gamers love to talk about their setups. They love to share. They love to create spaces that feel, unique and cool. And we got to talking about how that translates to the cab. And I started doing some research, and man, there are some wild gaming setups in trucking cabs out there. And I just wanted to bring you guys in here today to kind of see how your setups looked, and of course, because I'm a gamer myself, we're going to talk about many other aspects that surround gaming. But first, we'll go ahead and start in the same order we introduced you guys in. Donut, if I'm not mistaken, you're kind of running the gamut as a gamer. You've got your hand in a lot of different cookie jars when it comes to gaming.
Oh, yeah.
What are you playing right now, and what's the setup look like when you're OTR?
Right now, what was I playing? I was playing, but I was also, my main thing right now is WWE 2K25.
Okay, so the new wrestling game.
Yeah. I mean, on the road, it's mostly like Minecraft, Satisfactory, Devil May Cry, a little bit of Vampire from way back.
Okay. And some of those games, Minecraft not included here, obviously, but like Devil May Cry, those are games that are kind of renowned for their graphics, right? They're really pretty games. The art design is just phenomenal in them.
Yeah.
So what's the setup look like? I mean, are you getting everything out of your console that you want? Do you have a nice monitor? Do you have a big TV? How do you go about it and make it comfortable and livable when you're out there on the road?
I'll actually have I like to multitask. So I'll have my laptop up. That's where I have most of my games on right now. And the reason I'm not playing 2K5 is because I haven't been able to find a stable enough internet connection to cast from my Xbox at home.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
And I don't have room on the Xbox in the cab. I forgot to empty some stuff out and drop that on it. So
Oh, that's a bummer. So you got this new game, but you can't play it.
Yeah. But I still have the full Devil May Cry series. I got that on Steam on my laptop, so I'll flip that up. And if I'm feeling sparky, I run the HDMI over to the TV in the cab and dual screen it. So I'm playing the game on the cab and on the laptop on the TV in the cab, and on laptop proper, I'm sitting over here pulling up walkthroughs and stuff for when I get beat by Dante's brother the 53rd time.
Yeah, because those are hard games, right? Devil May Cry always kind of had that reputation that the boss battles they're gonna run you through the ringer. You've got basically your walkthroughs pulled up, and you've got the game casted to the TV. Did it take you a while to kind of figure that out, that was something? Because, I mean, being a multitasker and a gamer, you're probably used to having multiple screens in your face at all times.
Oh yeah, my dad and I, when I was living with my father out in up Minnesota, then in Arkansas, we actually had the whole house wired for sound. We had four screens running at once.
Like a sports bar in your house for video games, man. I love it.
Oh yeah, he was playing on his two. I was playing on my two. We had a TV show playing in the background on the main TV. My sister's on a laptop. My mama Julie, she's over on her laptop. Like, we're all just like playing zero AD, rocking people on the internet and the computer, getting pwned at max level.
I feel like I'm in an 8th grade LAN party right now, the way all those words just came out of your mouth in one stream, and we all understood every single one of them. That's the funny part. Well, cool, Donut. It sounds like you're pretty well set up, man. Drew, I want to go to you. You've talked to us about gaming on this podcast before. You're a console gamer, if I'm not mistaken. The console kind of makes the setup in the cab pretty easy, right? Because most of you were rolling out of there with TVs to begin with.
Yeah, so the company obviously puts TVs in their in the newer trucks, and I just left that in there. I don't know what size it is. I think it's like a 32-inch or something like that, or it's a smaller TV. But I just take my PS5 with me and plug it in to that TV and set the PS5 on the refrigerator and play like that in the truck, because when I'm driving, I like to unhook it and pack it back into my backpack so that way nothing happens to it while I'm driving. Mm-hmm. So the setup in the truck is kind of bare minimal, just enough to get by, but my setup at home is pretty badass. I just bought a 75-inch TV, a Sony soundbar, and a Sony surround system, and when I'm at home, I blare it, and you can hear it throughout the whole house. It's pretty much like you're in the game. It's pretty badass.
Dude, 75 inches. How far away do you have to sit? Like, I imagine you have the TV in your living room and you're in the kitchen. Like, that is just a massive screen.
Oh, yeah. I had to readjust my TV mount because it sat up too high, and the TV wouldn't fit on the mount without hitting the ceiling. So I had to lower it. And between the ceiling and there's a ledge on my fireplace. You can barely stick your hand in between the ledge and the ceiling from the TV to either one. And I probably said, I don't know, probably like 12 feet away, give or take. So it's pretty cool.
You talk about first world problems. Yeah, I had to move my bracket because the TV was too big. It was touching the ceiling. Like, there's a kid fighting for a drop of water somewhere right now, and I hope he's not listening to this because but I get it. The bare minimum setup in the cab is really built around the fact that the minute you're stopped and you're on home time, that PlayStation's coming out and it's going into the house.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, there's already been plenty of times where I stay up so late playing, I fall asleep playing my games and everything. So,
dude, I've got it. We're going to get into some of that later because I do have some questions about how you guys manage the time of it. And man, I've got a story about falling asleep playing video games that'll make you laugh. So we'll get into that in a couple of seconds. But it sounds like you're well set up, you're adaptable, and you're good to go, man. Nothing wrong with a 32-inch screen when you're playing in a truck cab, right? You don't have a lot of room anyway. That's probably about perfect.
Yeah, and plus you're really close to the TV, laying in the sitting in bed or laying in the bed or whatever. So I mean, you don't need that much, but when you get about 10, 12 feet away, you might as well blow that screen up.
Yeah, right. Next thing we know, Drew's going to have a projector screen on the side of his house. He's going to be sitting at his neighbor's.
Hey. When I was younger, we did have a projector in my brother's room that we played Sega Genesis on.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Those memories, people talk about is like, oh, I've been gaming my whole life. those are the type of memories you get because I still remember the first time we had this one screen theater in the town I grew up in, and one time they plugged a Nintendo 64 into it, and we got to go down there and play Mario Kart on a movie theater screen. And I could have died later that day with popcorn and Skittles on my breath and died a happy guy. I mean, it was amazing. So I love it, man. Drew, I appreciate all the info about your setup, man, and we'll talk about falling asleep with the controller in your hand here in a few. But first, I want to get to Tim here. Tim Spencer, you actually texted me, Tim, and you kind of have a unique gaming life, don't you?
A little bit.
Talk to me about it.
I'm not much of a gamer, but if I can make money at it, that's what I do. So there's a program I've been involved with for, I don't know, it's going on 5 years, but since I've had this account, it's been 2 years, I've made about $2,500 off of it. And it's an app called Ember, and there's tons of stuff you can do on there, everything from sports betting to my personal favorites is you can come up with a portfolio of cryptos, and then whoever has the best portfolio, you win Bitcoin. You can download games through there, and then, every time you reach a new level, they send you more Bitcoin, and you can cash out and just make money at it.
That's wild, because I think that every gamer at their core, if you told them, hey, I'm going to pay you to game, they would probably jump at that opportunity, right? I mean, a lot of guys are out here streaming and trying to do just that, get paid to play video games. I'd never heard of this before you started talking to me about it, but you sent me a ton of screenshots. And yeah, I'm sitting here looking at your balance. You've got $2,400 just sitting in there right now, and that's cashable. Like, you could just have that in your pocket in a few days if you wanted it.
Yeah, I would just send it over to Coinbase, sell the Bitcoin, and send it right to my account. Yeah.
That's amazing, dude. And how much do you have to play to earn that? You said you've been going on this account about 2 years. It's wild to me that you could earn that much in even 2 years.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can cash out every $10 you make. I think you can cash out once a month, up to $10. Sometimes I cash out 30, 40 a month. Sometimes 100. Just depends on how well I do in my tournaments, and sometimes I download the games, and like I said, there's sports betting. I've played with that. I made some mistakes on the sports betting and lost a little bit, but I didn't know what a parlay was until I Googled it. But
that's a mistake every gambler makes, but only once.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: Were you one hit away on your parlay, or did everybody lose and it went bad?
No, I think I had 10 different plays going on, and I only lost 2 of them.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts, man.
I'm not a sports guy, so I was just going by the statistical odds.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I won 80% of them. I mean, heck, I won the Super Bowl, and that was a big payout.
Yeah. And you know what? The thing about guys that win 80% of their bets do, they keep the lights on in Las Vegas. That's what those guys do. But this is super cool. And you actually sent me, and the reason I want to put this out there is because you stand to gain if people join this and they decide they want to go on and try to earn themselves some money. If you refer them, you get hooked up a little bit from the game itself, correct? Or the app itself?
Yeah, and that's not a part that I mentioned. So if you know anything about Bitcoin, you've got to mine your Bitcoin. Well, they have a mining function on there that is just more symbolic than anything. And you hit the mining button every single day and you earn like 3 sats an hour or something. And then the more people you get on, the more sats you earn. So I've got like 3 other people on there. So I'm up to like 12 sats per hour.
Okay.
And then there's other games that you can play as well on there that are directly on there that it's more like a casino on those games.
Uh-huh. But it looks like they've also got like solitaire and they've got some, like dice and Keno in there if you really want to go. Looks like maybe some Plinko. That's one where it's just left up to chance, right? No skill involved, but this is really cool, man. So I want to see if this is okay with you. Can other drivers contact you directly if they want to get a promo code so they can jump in and start playing and even making themselves a little bit of Bitcoin?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know how you want to set that up, but yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't have Tim's number and you want it and you have mine, get in touch with me and I can facilitate. If not, I would say just get in touch with your, maybe with your dispatcher when it's not, crazy hours or something like that, because they're not going to want to field a lot of calls to get Tim's number. But you're going to have to let me think on that, Tim. I'm very careful with people's phone numbers on this podcast because we have so many people listening. I try to guard them with my life. But we will figure it out. As for now, I will say, send us an email. That's the best way to do it. Do not call your dispatcher for this. Call them for everything else, not this. And send us an email, podcast@liquidtrucking.com if you need Tim's number and want a promo code. Because, man, like I said, you sent me probably 6 or 8 screenshots, and one of them is your balance. This is a real thing. And you've completely blown my mind here. I had no idea that this was something that happened. Before you respond to that, Tim, Donut, Drew, Big Jay, did any of you guys know you could get paid playing games through an app like this?
I've always questioned it though, because it's like nothing's ever as good as it sounds. It's always some kind of borderline catch that you don't know about until it's too late.
Sure, Tim. Have you found any catches with it or anything like that that puts you off at all?
The only thing I don't care for is maybe some of the ads, but other than that, and most of the time that doesn't even involve the games itself. It has to do with the trading aspect of it. So.
Okay, and I mean that can be true for every walk of life at this point. Ads, right? They just hit you in the face with them every place you go. There's no place you can get away from them. I mean, we talked about it in the open for this episode. American Trucking Simulator since 2023. Schneider has been advertising recruiting in American Trucking Simulator on the billboards. Did you guys know that?
Nope.
Yeah, I've heard they're starting to do it because it's pretty damn close to it being reality. I mean,
yeah, exactly. My point was, if it wasn't close to being reality, we'd have a lot of planes falling out of the sky, because that's how they train pilots, is on simulators, right? They don't bounce very well, so they got to put them someplace where they can't wreck. And, it's true, man. It's really, technology's amazing. The ads everywhere suck. But hey, if you're paying me, I'll sit here and watch ads all day long. I don't give a shit. I want the money. You know what I'm saying? So, email me if you want a promo code from Tim, because I know he'll hook it up. Podcast@liquidtrucking.com. Tim, before we get on to Jay here, I got to ask you, what's your setup look like? This is mobile gaming. You could do this right off your phone. Are you one of those dudes? Like, I remember when Pokemon Go came out, there was this guy in Asia that had like 60 phones hooked up or mounted to like just a pedal bike, and he was just riding around trying to catch all the Pokemon. Is this you? Do you have like 100 phones, or are you just one or two in it?
It used to be that way. I used to have Android devices hooked up, and they actually mined. And so I would mine all these other cryptocurrencies, and then I turn it into Bitcoin, and then turn it into cash.
Wow.
So I used to, but now I just use one phone.
Okay, so you've had one of those Pokemon Go setups before, but now we're pared it down to just one, and we're still making money, so everything's good there.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Well, Tim, thanks for that, dude. That's so cool. Completely introduced me to a brand new segment of gaming, which I'm probably going to get addicted to like I do all the rest of them. But this one, I might actually be able to show my wife a couple shekels in my pocket as a result. So can't wait to try it out. Big Jay Defoor, got to get to you, man. Listen, last time you were on this podcast, we talked about a little movie called Space Truckers, and I still tip my cap to you on that. Haven't watched it yet and don't plan to, but it was a really funny conversation, man. And Donut was telling me this would be a good one to get you back in for, because you are a gamer as well. Talk to me a little bit about what you play. I don't know if you're a console gamer or a PC gamer. What's your setup look like in the cab?
So for the longest time, I was a console gamer. My last console I ever have owned was an Xbox One. and I bought that the month it came out. So shows you how long I've had the damn thing. And so when about a year or two ago, I started noticing some weird stuff because, you know, everybody likes to derate their stuff, so you're forced to buy new stuff.
Yep.
I'm like, well, I'm tired of spending $500-$600 on a console, you know, having it 5-10 years, and I have to buy another $506 console. And, you know, with prices going up the way they are, it's just like, I want something serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about buying myself a gaming laptop. Well, one of my driver buddies, he told me about the Steam Deck.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like, I mean, I know Mr. Duncan knows what it is. I don't know if the other guys know, but in essence, what it is, it's a handheld gaming computer that runs off of Linux. And it is the best purchase I have ever made. And just due to the fact that I can upgrade it if I want. It's absolutely 100% serviceable. Valve designed it to be tinkered with. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's what I want, because even though I've been driving since 2006, by trade, I am a computer technician. I've actually ran computer departments in nonprofit organizations.
Okay. So you can actually get in there and tinker around a little bit and upgrade it yourself. You don't even have to pay somebody from the Geek Squad to do that.
Exactly.
That's
don't
awesome.
get him started. We'll be here all day. Well, Duncan knows about this too, because the first time we met, we were talking, and so when we met up to swap trailers, he's like, I want to check out Satisfactory. I'm like, are you sure you want to go down this rabbit hole? He's like, absolutely. So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to show him 256 hours later, I'm still playing it. Yeah. Yeah.
I've never even heard of that game. What? It's an open world factory game. And the whole point of the game is exploitation of resources. So when you first start out in the game, you have to pretty much clear cut entire forests to power your factories. And then you unlock your coal power, and then you unlock your gas generators. Then you unlock your nuclear power. Okay, so it kind of has like a little bit of a Sim City feel, except for you're running factories.
Oh, no. So developers for Satisfactory are the same developers that created Goat Simulator.
Okay. All right. So a little more true to form, a little more realistic simulation.
To a point, yeah.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I've never been good at math. And so when I started watching my YouTubers playing this game when it was in early access, I'm like, I don't know about this. And then the more I watch it, I'm like, maybe I can. So before I had my Steam Deck, I finally bought it, and it took me 4 or 5 restarts to actually start comprehending what I was doing because of the length of distance in between each playthrough. And I didn't have somebody, to sit there and help me out, like, this is what to expect, this is what you do, this is how this works, this is how that works, like I've done with Donut and my other driver buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have somebody sit there to teach you, it makes it a lot easier.
Okay. All right. I get that. So one of those games that is endlessly frustrating if you don't have help.
To a point. I mean, you can figure it out on your own, but it does help out to have somebody to help you out.
Okay.
Conveyor belt spaghetti.
Conveyor belt spaghetti.
Early game, it's belt spaghetti. You don't know what belts go to what, unless if you keep some stuff organized.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to be honest with you. Just hearing you explain it has already it's confused me to the point where I'm shutting the game off, and I haven't even turned it on at this point. But I
felt the same way at first.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone.
But that's the brilliance of Satisfactory. There's no literally right or wrong way to play it. You play it because it's a true sandbox, and you play it the way you see fit. There's one YouTuber that I watch all the time. I will never be able to build on his level. And again, Donut knows who it is. His name is I Am Kibitz, and he's actually created an Excel spreadsheet to deal with the remainders in the production numbers.
Oh God!
And he builds on such an insane level.
I started playing video games because I didn't want to do math. That's the main hang-up for me with it, you know?
It's kind of the way I can best explain it. It's kind of like golf. I know that's a weird analogy. What it does for me personally is it helps me clear my mind.
Okay.
Like I could spend 12, 16 hours on working on one factory.
Okay.
And still not be done. But and like I said, I've never been good with math, and so I've never really had the desire to play a game where I got to run numbers. But it's not that big of a deal at the same time. Like, if you don't want to run those remainders, you don't have to.
You don't have to, right? Because it's a sandbox. You just do what you want.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So what I do is I just round it down to the whole number, and then I throw in a buffer to take up that excess.
Got it.
And it runs itself.
Well, I say got it. I don't got it. I'm baby steps on my way there, but maybe one day I'll have it. And the part of this, not to go completely away from the game, because it does sound cool, and I like the fact that two of you guys play it, and Jay, you kind of helped out Donut getting started with it. That's all awesome, and that's exactly what we want to do with this podcast, is try to make more connections among you guys like that. If you guys are out there playing games, you might as well be playing with each other if you really want to, unless it's a solo venture. I get that too, but I want to get back to the setup. You talked about your Steam Deck. It's a handheld computer, so your setup in your cab is super minimal as well, kind of like Drew. You've probably got a lot of extra room there that you can use for other things.
Yeah, and so I use the TV that the company gives me. I got my gaming keyboard, RGB keyboard. I got my RGB gaming mouse, and I have Xbox controller I hook up to it. That's all I need. And
you've got access to, the Steam library has maybe even hundreds of thousands of games. Some of them free, some of them paid.
Oh, it's like Donut knows what I'm talking about. There's sometimes you get into some stuff, you're like, okay, I did not need to see that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some wild people making games out there, and they sell them on Steam. That's where you find those games. For sure.
See, and that's what I love about Steam. Like, it is like one of the best. Well, it's one of the best places to go for indie games.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy a good, AAA game, but it has to be good. But the AAA games anymore, it's not about quality; it's about quantity.
Sure.
And then making money. It's not about turning out a good game. I loved Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Like, I played the ever-living crap out of it. And so then when Bethesda's like, oh, hey, by the way, we're releasing a new Elder Scrolls game called Skyrim, I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, awesome.
You're in, right.
And it was lacking. Like, they didn't finish. They started the thought, but they never finished it. Yeah, I know there's a lot of Skyrim fans out there. Graphics are gorgeous. I'll give it that. The music's amazing. But the quality of gameplay behind it and what what an Elder Scrolls game is actually supposed to be able to do is just not there.
Sure. No, I heard that about Skyrim, and I think that Skyrim also got really popular later in its life cycle because of the modding community, doing all sorts of crazy stuff with it. I actually for years played Elder Scrolls Online. I was the MMO guy, and really had a lot of fun with that one. But man, you talk about time investment. That's where you really see your time go away, is those kind of games that, I heard Donut earlier say 256 hours later, he's still playing Satisfactory. That's a lot of goddamn hours. And I'm going to reverse the horseshoe here, because we're already talking to you, Jay. So, and I kind of want to keep this succinct and quick, but talk to me about time spent playing, because when you guys are over the road, you're driving for 10 hours a day. Obviously, you need to get good sleep so you can be ready to drive for 10 hours a day. How much gaming time do you actually get when you're over the road, Big J?
Not as much as you would think. Usually for me, what happens is I put in a bunch of hours getting down the road, between traffic, wearing me out, steering, braking, accelerating. Like, it does. It all takes a toll on your energy levels.
Right.
And so usually I eat and I crash. Okay. But on those, there's also days where I do manage to shut down early where I could play some games, but I'm just not feeling it. And that's the reason why I'm not feeling it, is because the reason why I shut down early is usually because of everybody else. And so I'm just like, screw it. I'm not turning it on. Or there'll be like a lot of times where I'm on a 34-hour restart and I just can't wake up for 24 hours. I'm just like, screw it. I'm sleeping. I need it, evidently.
Sure. So it's not so important to you that you're missing out on sleep for it, which is a really good thing. I think that's probably the biggest concern when you look at this through a safety lens, right? Is you don't want anybody staying up all night and then jumping back behind the wheel.
But on the other hand, there have been nights where, like, I've actually got like when Minecraft first came out on console. Like, there have been nights where I got zero sleep because I've been up all night exploring and building.
Damn, that's wild, man. Well, Tim, this brings me to you now because of the nature of the gaming that you do. First of all, how long do you normally play, like, say, per day? Or is there, like, a set time that you have to be at least engaging with it to be able to keep your sats earning?
So to keep the sats earning, you just have to click on it once every 24 hours. Then all the main thing I do is a bunch of cryptocurrencies that I think will perform the best, and I have to do that once every 6 hours maybe. So usually anytime, I stop for a break or at a tank wash or something, it's just real quick look at it. There's times like a lot of times I just copy trade other people.
Oh, okay.
And then when I actually get the time to do technical analysis and I look at the charts, that takes a lot more time. So that's usually sitting out a tank wash or at the end of my 10 or whatever.
Okay, gotcha. So it can vary quite a bit, but you do kind of have to be touching it every now and then to make sure that it's doing it's earning for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if you're doing the sports betting or whatever, that's
right.
Once a day, make all your bets, and then you're done.
Right. Like a real degenerate gambler. I love those guys where you go down to get your breakfast in Vegas at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and there's dudes sitting in the sports books midway through a cigar that's like 8 feet long. Those guys are dedicated. I don't want to see what their bank account looks like, but I love the dedication, Drew, heading over to you, man. You actually mentioned it when we were talking to you that there's some times when you've been up late. What does time spent playing look like for you when you're OTR, man?
Well, when I used to stay out like 2 weeks at a time, and I was on the food grade side of the company, there was quite a few times I spent a lot of time on my system, especially during my 34. Mm-hmm. But once I got over to Bardo and started doing the chemical side, it not as much. Corey tends to keep me pretty busy, working long freaking hours. So, I don't know, maybe during my work week, maybe like 5 hours.
Okay.
Throughout the whole, so maybe like an hour a night or something, or I might skip a couple of nights and be done early one day and just sit on there for a couple hours. But I definitely make up for it on the weekends. So
good. Yeah. No, you have to, right? You have to. And here's a question that I want to field to you, Drew, because I know you're serious about this, and I need to ask all the rest of the guys too. Do you know off the top of your head, and this doesn't have to be like, it definitely actually probably isn't when you're OTR, but do you know your longest stint of gaming, like uninterrupted, you sat down and you looked up and it was 10 hours later? Like, do you have one of those experiences where you just let it all hang out?
Yeah. You want to know my longest stint?
Yeah.
It was before I was a truck driver. I was a line cook at a truck stop, and I stayed up for 46 hours on Mountain Dew and beef sticks playing Need for Speed.
Mountain Dew and beef sticks is the gamer's meth. That's for sure. It's over the counter uppers.
Yep. I think it was me and my cousin, and I think between the two of us, we drank 2 cases. It was 24 packs of Mountain Dew, and when we went to the gas station, we bought 3 full brand new boxes of beef sticks, and just stayed up and
just
gamed
let it
out
happen.
and
That's
Oh
amazing.
yeah, and we didn't even realize how long it had been because my game room at the time, I had big dark blankets over the windows, so we couldn't tell what time of the day it was or anything. There was no clock. All I had was a flip phone back then that was dead 3/4 of the time. So,
Well, you might not have known how long you actually played for, but based on your diet, I think your plumber probably had a real good idea of how long you guys have been playing for.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so before I want to ask that question to Tim and Jay as well, real quick before we get to Duncan, because he was laughing there. I know he's pulled down some gaming hours. We already heard 256 out of him once, so his stint is going to be crazy. We'll save it for last. Tim, have you ever hit one of those really long gaming stretches when you weren't working?
No.
No, but you've probably done it for technical analysis, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, been sitting there staring at the same screen for 48 hours, but not necessarily gaming.
Correct.
Gotcha. How about you, Big J? Any of those stretches? You sound like a real committed gamer yourself, man. I imagine you've got a stint in there that rivals Drew's.
Yeah, like I said, there have been nights where, I get zero sleep because I'm, into a build or whatever. But the most recent one that I could think of off the top of my head is before I quit Hirschbach, I was a student trainer, and the last student that I'll ever have had. It was his last week on the truck, and I made him do all the driving, because that's the stage we were at. Mm-hmm. And I just sat in the sleeper playing Satisfactory 7 days, the entire 7 days, from the moment he started driving till the moment I went to bed.
Wow.
So you're probably looking at, 12 to 16 hours times 7. Yeah.
Enough. It's enough hours. That's a wow. I bet you he was a little bit peeved too. Because you're back there with your feet up.
No, he wasn't because I still kept my eye on him. If he needed anything, he's like, "Hey, Jay," I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" Like I didn't leave him completely to the wolves, but
well, it's good that you were playing a sandbox game where you could stop, because I imagine he would have been peeved if you were playing Call of Duty. Be like, dude, I can't pause. Figure it out. All right, Donut. So I want to talk about first with you time spent playing both OTR and at home, because I know you get down with it, man. On an average week OTR, how much gaming time are you actually getting?
Not much. I mean, at the end of the day, more often than not, I just I talk to my partners at home, get my food ready, and I eat. And while I'm trying to get my brain to wind down so I can actually sleep, I'm basically just playing Bloons Tower Defense on my phone.
Mm-hmm. Something that's a little bit mindless, doesn't make you think that much.
Yeah, or Arch Hero 2, different mobile games while my brain's winding down. If I have a late pickup the next day and I'm stopped with a few hours between me and when I need to go to sleep, I'll set up my phone with either, like I said, my partners on the phone, my son, or just a show like Leverage playing, something that I've seen 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. I just need that extra background noise.
Yep. And
I'll pop open the game for an hour or two.
I got it, man. The background noise thing is so crazy. I listen to true crime podcasts when I'm playing like NCAA football and stuff like that. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm really into listening to To Be Better or this one.
Hey,
I bounce between the two.
We'll take that. What's your, and by the way, I don't know what that says about me that I can just sit here and listen to heinous true crime stories while I'm playing football. I think that's probably cause for concern, but we're gonna put a pin in that one and address that at a later time. How long, Donut, for you, man, on your longest gaming stint? Now, I know you guys, as a family, you like to game, right? So there could be weekends, There could be weeks, there could be vacations where you guys have logged some serious time. What do you think the longest one is for you?
I know it off the top of my head. On a vacation, since I've been here at Liquid, on a vacation at home, fueled by nothing more than Cheez-Its, V8, and Monster Energy drinks, I I went 72 straight hours on Baldur's Gate 3.
Jesus, man. That is
Wow.
crazy. I
got that ADHD.
God, I need to get me a bottle of that. I don't know if I could stay up for even half that long without just falling on my face. I think it's probably because I talk so much. I really underestimate how much that takes out of me. But 72...
It was hyper-focus. I was hyper-focused. It was my birthday. It was the weekend surrounding my birthday, and I just went for it. And no one bothered me.
Did you beat the game in the 72 hours?
3 times. All of the side quests I could open up in each playthrough, different methods, I did everything different every time.
That's amazing. You want to talk about getting your money's worth on a $60 game? That's how to do it right there. 72 hours straight, beat it 3 times, never have to look at it again. That's workman-like video gaming. I'm still playing it. Okay, I got you. Well, fellas, this is actually, we used up more time than I thought we were going to here. So I've got to scrap a couple of the questions that I had for you. But I want to go around the table one more time really quick and ask you, what's on the horizon for you? What is the game that you're most looking forward to? I have a sneaking feeling that I can maybe drill Donuts and Drew's without asking them. So I'm going to save those two for last. Let's go back to Big J real quick. What's a game that you just can't wait for, man, that you can't wait to get your hands on that hasn't come out yet?
Well, it's actually come out. I've actually got my hands on it. I pre-ordered it, and it's called Roadcraft, made by the same developers that make SnowRunner and MudRunner.
Oh, okay.
And so it's what's cool about SnowRunner, the runner games, is they're true 4x4 off-roading adventure free roaming games where you have to repair damage.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Roadcraft does is it takes everything the developers have ever done and pretty much put steroids on it. And so you actually have like tractors, so you can actually grade the roads now. You got to pour your sand, you got to grade it, and you got to, run your, then you got to pave it, and then you got to do this or build bridges and do that.
Okay. I've seen some videos of that online. That looks kind of crazy, man. So you just, you got your hands on it already and you're playing it. What do you think about it at this point?
Well, I've played it for maybe about 15, 20 minutes, just kind of, seeing how the mechanics and everything work. And it's going to be a little rough at first, but it's actually going to be pretty fun because of the fact that, because of the fact that they still have the detail in their games that they've always ever had. And what I mean by detail, I'm like how the suspension travels when you're off-roading in your pickup truck versus your semi truck.
Sure.
The fact that, if you're driving through mud, it's going to splash up on your vehicle, and it looks like it's actually splashing up on your vehicle.
Yeah.
Even when you're driving through, say, like a puddle, the way the water moves.
Behaves, right. Yeah.
Behaves. There's actually, and they're supported by, they support the mod community in a big way.
That's
and
very
so
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so I have this tank, this APC that I drive around all the time. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it breaks the game, but it makes playing the game a lot easier in SnowRunner. And so if I drive that thing through the water, I'll even see a rainbow effect from like there's oil under, coming off from underneath it.
Oh, that's so cool, man. I love it when graphics get that advanced. That's really cool. And here, one thing, I got to kind of combo this up here because we're running out of time here. I'm going to ask you for your favorite game, which you already told me, or the one you're looking forward to the most, which is Roadcraft. Do you have any final thoughts for us before I let you go, Jay? Because we are going to run out of time before we get too much further in here, and I don't want to leave anybody's final thoughts on the table. I'm going to really leave my final thoughts alone because, like I said before, this is a subject where we could go for an entire weeks on end. Okay,
so
man.
It'd be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool if it became a mini series or whatever.
Absolutely, and there's enough drivers that are into it. We would love to further explore gaming at Liquid Trucking for sure, because These are always some of the most fun conversations, and I always learn something, and I just think it's cool to find out how people are spending their spare time. And Big Jay, I really appreciate the time today. Thanks for joining us. I will get back to you with my synopsis of Space Truckers day after never, okay? Tim Spencer, thank you for joining us, man. I hesitate to ask you if there's a game that you're looking forward to, because you kind of got a little niche here where you don't really need a brand new shiny game to come out for your gaming to just keep going in perpetuity. But I'll field the question to you, man. Is there anything that you're looking forward to coming out soon that you're thinking about dipping your foot in the pond of?
No, not really, but I do technically have a setup in the truck. I have a MetaQuest 2 that I use.
Oh,
That's
VR,
cool.
nice.
That's cool, man.
If I do play a game, it's usually Escape from Galaxin, and it's like you're in a 1970s video game, and you're shooting all the little bad guys and stuff, and that's pretty fun. But we use it for an app called Big Screen, where you're watching all your movies, and then the lady at home will watch the same thing, and it'll be like we're in a movie theater together watching TV.
Oh, that's really cool. That's such a cool way to stay connected when you're out on the road.
Yep.
I gotta get set up. Yeah, I've always wanted to get a VR setup for No Man's Sky.
Oh gosh, that'd be crazy, man. That might be too much. That might be like a psilocybin trip. You might not come back from that one.
I've seen the gameplay from people that use their VR headsets to play No Man's Sky, and like just flying around would be so much more amazing through space.
Yeah.
Because you can actually look around and not like veer off course when you're in a dogfight.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can see where they're at.
That's awesome, man. Well, Tim, final thoughts from you before we let you go today, my friend. Thanks for being here. Thanks for educating us on what you did. Anything else to say to the drivers or anybody at home before we let you go?
Nope, we're good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the time here. Drew, I am going to take a wild guess and say that you and Donut are both chomping at the bit for GTA 6 to come out, which is not going to happen until next year. Am I right?
No.
Damn it.
No, I guaranteed you wouldn't get it.
Okay, well, hit me with it, man. What are you excited about?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin.
Okay, a man after my own heart. A man after my own heart. I was down at an arcade bar last week, and I was playing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. Giant Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. I did not know that they had a new game coming out.
Yeah, it's The Last Ronin. All the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Master Splinter, they all die except for one of the turtles. I can't remember which one it is. And
I know because I read the comic.
Yeah, he picks up all the weapons, and it's supposed to be one. I saw some clips of it, and the graphics are amazing. It is like watching a mini movie, and it's supposed to be one of the top tier games that are coming out.
That's cool.
Wow.
Okay, do you have a launch date for us, or at least like a ballpark?
I do not. I didn't look too far into when it's supposed to be released.
Okay. All right. Well, I am definitely going to look up that one because that sounds amazing. And Drew, I'm not going to ask you for your final thoughts because we're saving that for just a little bit later here. A little surprise coming up for everybody at the very end of the show with Drew. On to you, Donut. What is the game, man? Is it GTA 6? Was I correct, or did I fail for you too?
Failed for me too. I haven't played GTA since San Andreas.
Bummer, man. I really thought I had you guys pegged. Okay, well, what is it? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking to upgrade one of my systems from the Switch to Switch 2 and get the next in the Pokemon series.
Right on.
I get it, man. Those Switch 2s are going to be incredibly popular. Does the price point of the Switch 2 put you off at all?
And no, not really. I have a little bit tucked away for it.
Oh, that's good.
What is the price range on that thing? I haven't heard.
depending on where you go, it's anywhere from almost 500 to 600, depending on how big you want the internal storage. But it has full backwards compatibility, so I'm down.
Yeah, you're getting all the old Switch games too, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I have an extensive library.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Not at all. So, okay, cool. Well, upgrading the console, that counts as being very excited about the next big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Final thoughts from you, Donut, before we let you go.
I still, same as always, everybody be safe and enjoy your downtime. We don't have these games because we ain't got anything better to do. We got to enjoy life somehow.
Exactly. And I understand not everybody out there games. 50% of the people that answer the poll don't game in their downtime. I totally understand it. I think that it's a great escape. They can obviously be a problem because there's certain addictive properties to them. And based on us hearing that there's been 48-hour and 72-hour gaming sessions in this group, I think we've all figured out a way to at least keep a lid on that because we're all still driving. We're all still in one piece. So hats off to you, gentlemen, for being able to even fit it in from time to time and having cool setups in your cab. Keeping your mind off things when you're in your downtime is crucial to being at your best when you're on your uptime. So I want to thank you, Mikal Duncan, Drew Hearn, Tim Spencer, and Big Jay Defoor. Thank you guys all, man. Fantastic conversation. Really enjoyed it. We will have you guys back to talk more video games later, all right?
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, fellas. All right, great segment there with the guys. We let Tim, Donut, and Big J go, but Drew, you're still here with me, man. And I'll be honest with you, you're here with me for a bit of a bittersweet segment. It's going to be a short one, but you got in touch with me the other day and you delivered me some exciting news for you, man. What was that news?
Well, what's today? The 5th of June. So June 6th is officially my last day at Liquid, and I am switching over to a local job so I can spend more time with my family.
Hey, man. Totally understand that. You're not the first driver to deliver this message on this podcast, and spending more time with the family, Drew, that's got to be something that's just got you jumping from foot to foot, man. I know you love your family, and I know that you guys get into all sorts of fun stuff when you're there on your home time, probably just looking at this as a way to get more of that home time and get into more of that fun stuff.
Yeah, I started trucking 5 years ago. Well, about five years and 4 months ago, and I have spent that entire time over the road. And my three youngest when I first started, I only had 4 kids, and my 3 youngest were real little at the time, and they really didn't understand. I came around during the weekends and everything. Mm-hmm. And then I had another child about 2 years ago. About 2-3 weeks ago, we had a short kind of week, not a whole lot of work going on, so I got to spend every night at home, and it just really made me realize on what I'm missing. My 3 youngest kids pretty much don't even know who I am. Mm-hmm. They know me as pretty much the weekend warrior guy, and my oldest son, he gets it, he understands, and my oldest daughter, it breaks her heart every time I leave. And the week I was going home every night, when I left Monday morning, all 3 of my daughters were like, "Oh, are you coming back, tonight or whatever?" And I said, "No, probably not. I'm probably gonna have to go back out on the road." And they all 3 of them just started crying. Oh. And it just broke my heart, man. And, I just, I've been talking to the wife about it for a while, and finally found somewhere that's going to work out for the best for us, to where I'm still making pretty good money, but also be able to be home every single night. And I let all my kids know and everything, and they're ecstatic. They love it. So, I think it's going to be a pretty good move. Will it last? I hope so, but I don't know. I don't like to think too much in the future about it, but I do appreciate everything that Liquid has done for me. they took me in about a little over 4 years ago, and I've been able to buy my first nice vehicle. I've been able to buy a house, and pretty much my lifestyle has changed completely. And, it is all due to me working at Liquid.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, I got something and I said this to you when you and I were talking personally, but you were the very first driver that I met at Liquid Trucking. Before we ever started this podcast, it was really awkward, but my job when I was there we call these discovery trips, my job was just to sit in the break room and try to catch some drivers and see if I could sit them down and ask them some questions. And you were the very first one I got my hooks into. And you were nice enough to sit there and let me ask you off-the-wall questions that probably made no sense at the time. Fast forward to today, you've joined this podcast a ton. We've always had great times with you on it. You are one of the guys, and listen, I've developed a lot of these relationships, so I don't want anybody else that I have one of these with to think that I'm not thinking about you guys right now too. But much like a lot of the drivers that I've developed relationships with, you're one of the guys, Drew, that I could send you a text and I could say, today we're talking about kimchi and how well it ferments on the show. Are you in? And you'd say, sure, dude, I'm in. Like, let's talk about it. I don't know anything about it, but let's talk about it. And I can't tell you how much that means to me as a host and a person. And just knowing that you've been out there as a standby since literally the word go, it makes this very bittersweet for me, man. But hearing that your kids are so excited about it and they don't have to go through that pain of hearing that you're going to be out on the road for an extended period, it just melts me into a puddle, man. And I'm so happy for you. I will say, if it's not forever and your ass isn't back here, then you're going to have to answer to me. But for now, since things seem like they're going to work out pretty well, man, I wish you luck. I wish you great health and fortune for you and your family. And I can't speak for Liquid Trucking as a whole, even though I know they love you. I'm going to speak from the Liquid Trucking podcast here and say thank you from all of us, from the bottom of our hearts, for all the time that you've given us here on the show.
Oh, yeah, no problem, man, and all the same to you. Have yourself a kid, man.
I got two corgis, bro. That's more than I can handle, man. I've been vacuuming I've been vacuuming nonstop for 11 years, dog. I ain't got any room for kids in this house. But hey, man, we wish you well. I will tell you right now, do not lose my phone number. Anytime you need me, give me a call. If you got something that you think might go well on the podcast, hey, ring us up, dude. And we're also doing other podcasts outside of Liquid Trucking that I'll try to involve you in. Just good luck, man. And thanks for giving us a chance to say bye to you and bid you farewell, because it's been a hell of a run.
Oh, yeah, it definitely has, and I appreciate it. And I've always had fun on here and everything. And then also, I'm definitely going to keep your number, because me and the wife definitely want to come up to Oregon sometime. And why not visit one of the coolest podcast hosts out there?
Hey, man, come out for a tailgate. That's what I tell everybody. If you're going to be in Oregon, you might as well be here in the fall and watch some football with me, okay?
Damn right. Go Ducks.
Go Ducks. We got a saying out at the tailgate. It's GDYSOB, and you know what that stands for, right? Go Ducks, you son of a bitch. That's
there you go. There you go.
All right, well, Drew Hearn, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast for these past 81 episodes, man, and we wish you well. Be safe out there, and don't be a stranger, okay?
All right, sure thing, Marcus. I appreciate it.
That's going to wrap it up for us today on episode 81 of the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Big thanks to Donut, Tim Spencer, and Jay Defoor, as well as our buddy Drew Hearn. It's so long. See you later. And like I said, don't be a stranger, bro, all right?
All right.
Thanks for tuning in and being the gold standard of drivers on the road. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and tune in next week for another episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast.
Interested in finding out more about what it takes to bring a podcast like the Liquid Trucking Podcast to your fleet? Bulldog provides tailor-made, top-to-bottom podcast production services. We'll meet your terminal staff, connect with your drivers, and bring you the content you want your drivers to hear. Type bulldog.works into your browser to connect with us and learn more about what we can do for your fleet. That's bulldog.works for podcasts, tenacious recruiting, and more.